we're back with another episode of Lakers Weekend. Lakerholics Spotlight, everyone. Welcome to the Lakers Weekend. It's the Lakers Fast Break podcast. Yes. Jamie, what are you searching for?
It's my spotlight, Joe.
Oh, it's the spotlight. The spotlight is on the Lakerholics. There you go. All right. Thanks again for joining us. It is, of course, Lakerholics Spotlight, brought to you by Lakerholics.com. Go ahead and check out what's going on today with everything going on with the guys. Laker Tom, the number one Lakers blogger that's out there, and of course, Yami Swoot, aka Jamie Sweet. You can go ahead and check out his 5 Things articles and go ahead and check out what they argue about each and every time out.
Argue, we always agree. We never argue.
Yes,
we take turns writing each other's articles now. We're in such perfect agreement.
All right. Well, Magic Man's here. He can tell you.
What?
Okay.
I just came in at a really weird time in history.
Magic Man, the quote that was just said was on Lakerholics.com. Laker Tom and Jamie Sweet always agree. True or false, as someone who's been monitoring the site for years and years, even before me.
Emphatic false.
All right. There you go, indeed. But once again,
you have 10 years of friendship or 15 years of friendship that says differently.
All right.
That's true.
Maybe
I will say this: me and Tom agree more than Jamie and Tom.
I think that's true.
Well, the thing is that we agree 90% of the things about the Lakers we agree upon.
It's just that last 10%.
Happen to have a 10% that sometimes we vociferously disagree upon.
Yeah, you're both.
Right. That's right.
It's like that 10% is so agnostic.
Right.
Well,
right.
That usually takes about 90% of the conversation. I agree.
We're both gonna die on our 10% hills. That's how it goes.
Yep.
All right. So you can hear all this wonderful banter each and every day at Lakerholics.com. Plus also as well, go ahead and give a big shout out to everyone out there for jumping on. It's the best Lakers chat room that's out there right here at the Lakers Fast Break. Do not forget the Lakers game is on today at 4 p.m. Pacific. Please go ahead and join us. Playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. That's playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. You can catch all the action with us today right there for you. And then, of course, the best post game anywhere for the coverage of the Lakers right here, wherever you get your podcasts. But it is a preview of tonight's game. Well, tonight, if you're on the East Coast, of the Lakers and the Magic. Truly appreciate you stopping by. Blue Magic, Darren, of course. Darren, who heard the hot mic moment last night between us and Sean. Cool, bro. Good to have you back. Intel Wild, Zach. Truly cannot thank you enough for stopping by. It is the Lakers Fast Break. Getting ready for a good game tonight between the Lakers, starting out the road trip tonight in Orlando without some players. I want to go ahead and mention the latest injury report has Taurean Prince is out with a left patellar tendonitis issue, along with Rui Hashimura still in concussion protocol, Gabe Vincent with the left knee effusion, and Jared Vanderbilt with the bursitis. All these players are out. I do not expect any of them. Maybe the Monday game at the earliest for a couple of these players, but we'll see what happens. But yes, the Lakers are down 4, and if you want to include JHS, 5 players. So what's the challenge ahead for the team tonight and going forward in this first real road trip of the season? We're going to talk about that today, but glad to have you here. And please, again, join us tonight on playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet. We're 1,100 strong and counting, so please go ahead and continue to tell everyone out there about the good things that we do right here at the Lakers Fast Break. So first up, it is, of course, some great things going on for tonight. And here today to talk about tonight's game, great guys indeed, starting off with the man himself, the number one Lakers blogger that's out there, of course, Laker Tom. Laker Tom, great to have you here, my friend. Looking forward to a good conversation. You do owe me a victory as far as the victory I got for the bet. I have not forgotten in regards to how we started the lineup this season, but I said you can cash it in. with Mrs. Laker Tom and provide her a nice dinner, and we'll consider that even. So there you go, right there. I'm
gonna save it until I'm in Vegas.
Oh no, take care of
it.
Tom. She puts up with you for 305 days a year.
You put up
Take
with me
care
for
of her.
57 years, man.
Well, just take care of her anyways.
Yeah.
We'll consider it done. But it is Laker Tom. Laker Tom, great to have you here. He is, by the way, not from Simi Valley, Magic Man. I confirmed that today. Mill Valley. Remember our conversation earlier this week?
Yeah, I confused the two. My bad.
It's a valley. You got a valley.
Yeah, I'm not from California, so my
but he's also mailed stuff to us. We mail stuff back and forth, so he knows where I live.
You get all those valleys mixed
do.
up. That's okay. Simi Valley, Hill Valley.
Oh, for God's sakes! I mean, look
Valley,
at all
Valley,
these...
Valley Girl, Valley High School. There you go.
It's NorCal all the way now. I grew up in South SoCal, but I'm still 100% NorCal now.
For sure.
Actually,
Gerald, there are so many of these names that you get confused with. For God's sake, Schenectady, New York, and
that's not even including Canada, man.
Yeah.
And Vita, I'm going to tell you, I agree. I do not like this in-season tournament. I'm just going to say that, but we'll save that for later on in the
courts
program.
are crazy, man.
Yes,
you can't even watch the game. It's like,
yeah, the one that
got the red court. What team has that bright red court? That's
two of them do. Heat and the Bulls.
The Lakers.
The Bulls. Tom's talking about the Bulls one.
Bulls.
I don't know if you could play basketball on that court. That's crazy.
I will tell you what, though, the Lakers have one that they did tweet out, and I'm not exactly in love with. Yeah, it's yellow. I'll just give it that. Laker Tom, Darren says, I really didn't watch the Lakers till the season Wilt and West won the championship. You probably started before me. I never saw Elgin play. Before we get into tonight's game, I want to ask, was he special? Is Darren is asking. Was Elgin Baylor special to you? From the highlights I saw.
I grew up, it's really kind of ironic. I grew up as a Wilt Chamberlain fan. So my first NBA team that I rooted for was the San Francisco Warriors, and then the Philadelphia team, and then finally to the Lakers. But I lived in Southern California, and I listened to Chick Hearn every single night and watched every single game. And I patterned my whole basketball career after copying Jerry West in every move he made. And Elgin Baylor was Dr. J before Dr. J ever was imagined by people. 6'5" guy who led the league in rebounding, who had all of the moves that the modern players have, and all of the great athleticism and everything that they had. It was just incredible watching Baylor and West not be able to beat the Celtics.
I have a question for you, Tom. Since they're going to be playing the games long after we're both gone, which record do you think is more attainable? DiMaggio's hit streak or Wilt Chamberlain's over 23,000 rebounds?
I think that there's a lot of records that Wilt should have had they been keeping track of those stats at that time. But that rebounding record and 100 points in a game, I don't think are ever going to be broken.
Neither do I. I know a lot of people say within the modern game, and obviously Clay's a pretty good example, over 60 points, barely had 15 dribbles, but it's so unattainable, even with the rule changes, Tom.
Well, Wemby's going to do it already. They've already declared that he's going to break LeBron's records and everything else. And he played, 5 games? But what a 5 games, man.
Well, let's get into tonight's game, though. It is, of course, the Orlando Magic and the Los Angeles Lakers heading into the Magic Kingdom. Your thoughts, though? Lakers are down 4 rotation players plus JHS.
I think it's an advantage to the Lakers, frankly.
Okay, well, tell us how.
Well, it's kind of funny. There was a tweet this morning by somebody. I'm sorry for not giving proper attribution to the guy, but he said, that I like Taurean Prince, but it kind of makes me happy that he's not playing tonight because Ham's going to have to play the bigs again. none of these 3 guard lineups. Instead, we can go. Maybe we can even solve the non-LeBron minutes by playing the 3 centers all together, with a couple of guards. I mean, I think it's only an 8-man rotation, and yeah, we are wearing LeBron out. We're wearing AD out. We're playing them more minutes because we're playing these overtime games and we're playing close games, and we want to have a good start to the season, and so that we avoid last year's demise. But I think it's almost a blessing in disguise, because playing those 3 bigs was really interesting, because all 3 of our centers can stay in front of guards. And that's really interesting, because all of a sudden now you start switching with that lineup. And you've got another interesting development, which is Cam Reddish is likely to start again. One of our problems is, and I brought this up on Lakerholics.com, is Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell a championship backcourt? Because that's the big question the Lakers have to answer when we go. And right now, when you look at those 2 guys playing with that 3 backcourt, with that 3-man front court, and the size and flexibility and versatility they have, that's a winning lineup. They could probably win a championship with that. And if you've got guys like Vanderbilt and Reddish who can actually defend in the backcourt and shut down players and really provide that kind of defense, there's a way of moving those pieces together. I mean, we're going to have to get our rotations a lot smoother. We need to see how the guys that are injured get back in. But I think that there is something to this whole thing of Darvin Ham liking to play small lineups, and the small lineups have not worked. And part of it is because Taurean Prince has not been good enough defensively to make up for the shortcomings that Reeves and Russell have defensively. Now this ability to have a guy like Reddish in there, and there's a point in time where if Wood makes a starting lineup, you can afford to have a guy like Reddish or a guy like Vanderbilt in the starting lineup for his defensive ability, because you have another guy who can stretch the floor like Wood. I think that's the direction the Lakers are going. Ham's not going to get there before the fans want him to. And that's probably fine, because, as I've said many times, most of my opinions are not from a coaching standpoint. They're from a fan standpoint. I want to see the changes. I want to see the changes now. I don't want to waste another game. But Ham's shown that he's making the right moves slowly but surely. And Wood is proving that he's an invaluable piece that needs to be in the starting lineup. The Lakers are in a good position. It's really kind of ironic, because we have all these injuries, and before the season, all we said was, all that counts is if LeBron and AD can stay healthy. And if they can play at the peak of their game, then we're fine. Right now, that looks really good.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. Welcome to Lakers Weekend and the Lakerholics Spotlight. Tonight's Spotlight is on the Lakers and the Orlando Magic. Also here today, a good man indeed. You know him as Admiral Akbar, because he's always laying the trap out for the Lakers, but it is a.k.a. Yami Sweet, JB Sweet. I did not forget, my friend. Great to have you here for another wonderful performance. Last time we talked, already showcased. You got to go ahead and make sure whenever you're here, you plug your latest musical ventures.
Oh, thank you. I will try to remember. Actually, this is one of our bands. Utah Funk is a cool dude. Anyhow, thank you, Gerald.
Let me hear your thoughts for today's game. Again, Lakers go in there 3-2, start of a road trip. Not on the best of notes with all the injuries per se, but again, Laker Tom is trying to see the rosy side of things and saying, of course, it's all gravy because of the rotation has to be shortened. The Lakers have to go big, which again pleases almost everybody out there, including Zangerstein, who wrote a brilliant article on this channel on it, and her thoughts are there. So I truly appreciate her taking the time to do so. So your thoughts, my friend, as we head into Orlando and the Magic Kingdom today.
I actually think it's a good test, right? Because we just played Orlando. They got to match up against our 3 bigs. That lineup kind of held them in check and helped push us ahead to win the game. And so it's a good. This is what you want to see in a way, right? Like what's Orlando's adjustment, right? What adjustment is Orlando going to make to see if they can counter this, right?
Actually, according to Magic Man, Gary Harris, who was 5 for 5 from behind the arc, is
It's
out,
not
and
available.
also
Yeah.
and Wendell Carter Jr. is also not available for today. Really
So now
underrated.
Fultz
Center.
is iffy as well. He didn't
Fultz
play
is-
against the Jazz. So
yeah, I think
we'll
Fultz
see.
is game time decision, right?
Yeah,
So
looks like it.
We'll see.
So, I mean, that's a bummer because that spoils the test a little bit. Wendell Carter Jr., I thought, had a pretty good game against us, actually. You know, and you know the Magic are an up-and-coming team. They're the East Coast version of the Thunder when they're healthy, right? They've got some guys who can make shots from the outside. They've got some dynamic players who are still kind of finding their way, and you know they've got a tough slog to make an actual playoff spot.
Suggs is slowly turning into an Alex Caruso clone.
If not even better, maybe even better than Caruso. He was everywhere. See. He was everywhere in that game. I mean, he was picking up fouls was the only issue, and he lets where Caruso like tends to stay cool. Suggs gets hot. You can see like he's amped up in his mind, and if he could stay cool, I think he would do himself a lot of favors. But that's a skill as much as anything else. It's something you can work on. It's something that not every player masters, just like a jump shot. So we'll see. That's my one knock against Suggs is that he lets the emotions of the game dictate his ability to impact the game a little too much.
He is really good on the defensive end.
He was everywhere. That you would
like
think a guy
everything he does is stellar. Everything he does, his point of attack is stellar.
Right.
His transition defense is stellar.
He came out of nowhere multiple times.
Great
just his speed and anticipation are top notch, and so that's a great component to have on any team. So I could see, like I said, I don't see the Magic challenging for a top 6 spot, but I could see him sneaking into the play-in this season if everybody stays healthy for the most part. Specifically Fultz. Fultz is kind of like the weird glue that makes that team work. If he's playing well and healthy, he gives them a dimension they don't otherwise have, which is a dynamic scoring guard. He can score inside, he can score outside. So if he's iffy and Wendell Carter's out and Gary Harris is out, that's a lot of offense and some defense when it comes. I mean, both of them are actually decent defenders. So not as great a test. And actually means we'll probably see more of the big lineup since Orlando's going to have to play big at that point. They're going to have to play as many big guys as they got if we trot that lineup out. So I think we'll win someday. I think it'll be a little chippy. It came down to a last-second shot last time around. So it's not like we blew him out or anything. Suggs makes that 3. He's not screaming into his jersey. He's screaming into the air, and everybody at Staples Center goes home sad and mopey. But he missed his 3.
You like Suggs for the Lakers?
I mean, I love that's like the kind of guy I love.
He's a competitor. He's a winner.
Yeah, I just love guys. I don't like it when you have loafers on the team. And so guys who loaf, I kind of don't care how talented you are. It's one of my biggest problems with James Harden. I'm like, dude, at your core, you're a loafer. You're a loafer at the core of who you are. And it shows in every single thing you do. It shows on how you blame everybody around you for all of your NBA problems and your whining and your 3 trades, 3 teams in 2 years. Like, just get over yourself and show up.
It's hard to make max money and not come through, though. You got to appreciate that.
No, I'm not saying he doesn't have
a
skill
problem that he deals
but
with.
That's what that skill and loafing don't go hand in hand. You can be a highly skilled loafer.
Suggs has a point of attack physicality that the Lakers defense lacks right now, and it's really the main thing that we lack defensively. Hopefully we can see Vanderbilt return and provide some of that, and I think that we're seeing Reddish showing some signs that he could really.
He's trying. He's still learning to do it without
his hands are good. His hands are great.
He's got good hands, but he needs.
You got to be careful with the ball around him.
You do and he's got athleticism, so he can get up and challenge shots too, and that's what you want to see from guys like that. One
of the 2 starters that we've got now probably has to be replaced by a great defender for this team to win.
I mean, I would say it's Prince. Prince is definitely the odd man out in all of my equations, and not for any fault of his own. It's just that he's not a great defender.
I think it would replace Prince. I think that you can survive with D'Lo.
Okay, now I'm going to take an issue with that. Whether or not you consider him a good defender, Torian Prince, putting him out of the rotation, the fact that he's the best shooter consistently right now for the Lakers, plus also the fact that
The worst
he's the
plus
one.
minus on the team, though. He's like minus 45.
Well, okay, but let's put it this way: he's the one that's given the task to guard the other team's perimeter players so far this season when he's in there, not D'Angelo Russell or Austin Reeves, because especially Austin Reeves has been picked on constantly. Let's just get this out on the floor that we've seen that he's been picked on constantly, and D'Angelo as well. No matter how much he tries to channel, other players, especially if they're on the Celtics,
they both won't start in the playoffs this year.
Well, again, what I'm trying to say is, Torian Prince has earned a spot back in the rotation once he gets back healthy, because of the fact that he is shooting well enough for us to go ahead, and that's something that we need. Especially you, Laker Tom, have driven home the 3-point shot, and if he's the one that's shooting the best out of all of us, and though he's given the tallest task. Now, mind you, he's not held up well against the other players.
Behind by we've been double digits trailing in 4 out of the 5 first quarters. Primarily because Torian Prince has the lowest negative, the greatest negative plus minus of any player on the team by a substantial margin. I mean, it's really embarrassing, and basically, it's why the reaction of Laker fans is almost universal. That it's too bad that he's injured, but probably good for the team tonight.
Well, we'll see what happens on that. But also here today, a good man indeed. He is the madman from Toronto. He did get out of Toronto traffic to go ahead and stop on by and talk to the Lakerholics as he disappears. Hopefully he comes right back to us here. It is the Magic Man, Sean Grice. Sean, great to have you back on again, my friend.
Gerald, I'm starting to think that Streamlabs is doing this on purpose to me.
I don't know.
As soon as you're introduced, it's like
absolutely. But you talked about me appearing. Mission 24 talked about me appearing like God yesterday. Maybe you just did that as well. But great to have you here, Sean. Your thoughts on this? Torian Prince. Okay, I'm sorry. His shooting is supposed to be needed on a team that wants to gear more towards threes. Yet these guys are already kicking him out of the rotation. Your thoughts on Torian Prince?
I'm not kicking him out of the rotation. I'm kicking him out of a starter spot.
Kicking him out of the starting lineup.
Yeah, those are two very different things.
You notice who's in agreement here?
Right. Yeah, excellent point, Tom. Thank you. Thank you,
Jamie.
Go ahead, Magic Man.
Well, I guess this needs some balancing out now, doesn't it? Because I wouldn't throw the baby out with the bathwater just yet with Torian Prince in the starting lineup. I think it's going to be cautious at best right now, Gerald, especially with the front court is very limited when you're missing Rui and Prince. That's a combination that you really would like to have. However, Tom made some good points about Reddish, and I really can't disagree with anything Jamie said necessarily. That the case being, it's Darvin Ham, Gerald. This is a Darvin Ham. How do you solve a problem like that, Gerald? The rotation.
Take away the small guys.
The in-game. Well, Tom, we had this discussion, and I just mentioned it to Adam. Adam was saying, I know some of us weren't too high on Wood. That's not true. Me and Jamie never dismissed Christian Wood's skill set. We were skeptical of the resume that he's had in the league thus far.
Of course.
And it's just the fact, okay, the big lineup has worked great against the
Clippers. It has worked great, and that's the point. Wood has done his job thus far.
2 teams.
But
so
how
many
Reddish, wings?
So is Hayes. You notice something about that? So did Monk. Go down the line. It's this staff. It's Darvin Ham. Darvin's been able to reach these guys and get them to play the way that they're supposed to be playing.
He's just got a challenge. It would be nice if he actually challenged some calls and maybe took some more timeouts. You know,
I
instead
know.
of trying to
It's just
take him home with him
I'm a
on
big
the ride
proponent.
home.
I'm a
It'd be great
big
not to.
proponent. I'm a big proponent of comfort is the enemy of progress. That's kind of what I'm seeing here. And Jamie kind of alluded to it there with the loafing. It's being too comfortable isn't necessarily a good thing.
No.
Especially in a competitive environment, Gerald, because you always there always needs to be that streamlined intensity. Like
Yep.
One thing about we've seen, Gerald, is that we need to come out with a fresh approach in this game because the last 5 games has been very stale from the tip.
Yeah.
What's been
Torian
the
Prince
consistent
wasn't
thing
there
about the
last game, and
5
they were.
games, though? It's
Yeah,
been
but
the
Prince
starting
you're
lineup.
and Prince
You-
wasn't there the last
Yeah,
game.
you
And
talk about the starts that the Lakers had. They were down 37-19, and Torian Prince was nowhere to be found. So
absolutely,
I don't think you should pin it all on one individual when you're talking about the best.
It's really Christian Wood who is the player who unlocks Anthony Davis at both ends of the court.
Tom used the right word there. When you're looking for, when a drug works in the body, the receptor looks for the end, and that's the key in the lock. The right key turns the right lock and opens up other doors. That's what Wood's been able to do here, Gerald. And we were, despite what the detractors of the LFB, you trollers out there and lurkers, we were never on board with the 3-guard lineup. We absolutely thought it was abhorrent basketball overall, and we were hoping that a situation like that, well, not like this, but something like it occurred where it would be foisted upon him, where he had to decide that if a big lineup was more efficient than his small guard lineup that he loves, he would have to forego the small guard lineup in lieu of the efficiency from the big lineup. And that's what he's had to do. And thankfully, he's adjusted, Gerald. Because,
he even discovered the 3 centers lineup.
I think if this was a situation where you had kind of a very disciplined yet predictable offensive coaches like Rick Adelman and Jerry Sloan, I don't think those 2 guys would ever make that kind of adjustment. So good on him for actually seeing and believing what he's seeing. And now that the big lineup is in his forebrain and not in the hindbrain, thankfully that's where the 3-guard lineup should stay.
Think back to last season for a second. Think back to last season for a second when we all clamored for, we all wanted to see AD and Thomas Bryant play together. And I think they played like 20 minutes total together, or like a half hour of total basketball on the floor. And I'm not trying to make that something that Thomas Bryant is some amazing player that he's not. But the idea that Bryant could open the floor up a little for AD, or do the dirty work down low to so that AD could open the floor up, vice versa. And they just never tried it. And so I think that I think Sean's point about Darvin Ham evolving a little bit as a coach before our eyes this season is a very astute one and a very valid one, because it's true. We didn't see that. Nobody got this shot last season. We would have gone Troy Brown Jr. and Schroeder and Westbrook and AD and LeBron and wonder why offense wasn't being generated and why guys were shooting over everybody from 15, 20 feet out. Well, they've got a hand in the face, but they're too wee. They're too wee, laddie. So, it's nice. And it's funny because I was just reading an article about Adrian Griffin about how after a couple games, they ditched Lopez on the perimeter, and they dropped him further back in coverage and said, stick by the rim, do what you're elite at. And sometimes, coaches, and Adrian Griffin put it perfectly. He goes, sometimes we're too smart for ourselves. And sometimes you have to go back to the people who are actually on the court. The players have something to do with what's going on, and you have to listen to what they want and what they think and what they're seeing out there. And he listened to his players. And so you can only hope that level of dialogue and communication is going on behind the scenes with the Lakers, because that's the kind of environment that helps you win a championship. You could say the same thing is happening up in Golden State with Stephen Kerr and Chris Paul coming off the bench for the first time in almost 2,000 games, which is an astounding thing to think about. Started every game for almost 2,000 games. And then, I won't say happily, but quietly and professionally came off the bench and did his job and helped the team win. And and we talked about the depth at the beginning of the season, and this is what it comes down to for me. Whether Taurean Prince starts or not, or whether they move Christian Wood into the starting lineup, or whether Vando knocks Reeves or somebody else out of the lineup and they play Prince at the 2, it'll still matter more who finishes the games. We've talked all season long about we want to see the best 5 guys on the games. And I know we're starting behind the 8 ball a little bit, and I think that that's due to a few things. I think, one, LeBron eases into the game. You can see it you're going to see it all season long till probably April. If he's healthy enough to play, he's going to take 3 shots in the first quarter, maybe 4 shots in the second quarter, and then he's going to save himself to really kind of try to have his energy and his wind and his strength ready to go for a second half push, because we were an awful third quarter team last year. And we've been a pretty decent third quarter team this year outside of the Denver game. That being said, I would prefer not to be down double digits coming out of the first quarter, but this is the learning process for everybody. And we can't say that. I think what is the most useful thing about the Wood strategy is that it's matchup based. If you're playing a fleet of foot team that runs guys off screens like the Warriors, I think Wood's going to have a much harder time having the level of impact you're seeing him against the Clippers, who are kind of a plodding team outside of Westbrook and Maxey, I guess. They don't have, Leonard doesn't want to go fast. He wants to walk the ball up the court. He wants to get set up in an isolation play, and he wants to go to work. Same kind of thing with Paul George, except he wouldn't mind a screen to run around and fling a 3-point shot up, right? And then you got Zubats, who's your traditional rim running center. So the three big lineup made a lot of sense. Hayes on Zubats, Wood on one of George or Leonard, and AD on the other one. And LeBron had to guard Westbrook. That is a great defensive lineup for the Lakers, right? That makes sense. You're winning that matchup. Your length is going to be able to contend with the strength and speed of both George and Leonard. And so I think that it is a very useful tool for Hand to discover. I don't know that it's the only tool we have in the toolbox, or the best tool even, because there's just still too many questions about the overall rotation since guys like Vanderbilt really haven't played since the first game of preseason.
Well, what's really important about that rotation, though, is that it's a non-LeBron James rotation. We won that rotation in that third quarter, playing those 3 guys and 2 guards. So LeBron was sitting.
Yeah.
Now, that's what really makes it important. And then the other thing is that, why does it work? It works because all 3 of our centers, Davis, Hayes, and Wood, have good mobility and quick feet. They can stay in front of guys, especially because they're long enough that they can give them a little extra room to stay in front of them. And it makes it very hard. And then when they start switching, it's the perfect defense. And you can see that the next step of it is to take one of those 2 starting guards that we've got now and replace them with Reddish, probably, and then, or put Vanderbilt in there. And all of a sudden you've got a lineup that could, you could really have, imagine putting Vanderbilt and Reddish as the 2 guards, and then try to score on 3 bigs and 2 guards like that. You'd have a lineup that's 6'8" and higher. 6'8" would be the smallest guy in the lineup. Now, yeah, you might have some problems scoring, but you're going to force the big problem that everybody always looks at is the other team makes an adjustment, and the Lakers, they seem to think that the Lakers have to adjust to the other team's lineup. I think that's a totally false way to approach the game of basketball. And it's a totally false way to approach it when you have size like the Lakers do. Instead, you go out there and you put your lineup out there and you make them adjust to you. That's the whole argument with LeBron can't guard the 3s. The whole reverse of that argument is what puts that argument into the ground and why LeBron is playing a 3 now. It's because at the other end, nobody can stop him and nobody's going to beat him at that position. So you go out and force the other team to match up to you. Forget this stuff of having to match up because they go small, we go small. No, we go large, they have to go large.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is Lakers weekend at Lakerholics Spotlight. The spotlight is on the Lakers and the Orlando Magic and the first real road trip of the season. Magic Man, let's get you back in here. You know, you and I talked at length last night along with Laker Nick, who I truly appreciated him joining us for, of course, our show last night, talking about what's coming up for the road trip ahead and the depleted roster that we now have, trying to make it into an advantage. That's Laker Tom and Jamie have alluded to with the big lineup and the reliance that we now have on it. Your thoughts, though, when it comes to what we're seeing today, we should see something similar to what we saw earlier this week. But when it comes to what we see in Miami, Houston, and a weird going on in Phoenix, because A, they can't keep anybody healthy, not named Kevin Durant, and B, they're not winning right now, which is usually trouble for us when we finally get there, because I can imagine everybody will all get healthy at the same time when we're there. Suddenly, yeah, that always happens. Yeah, everybody's suddenly back healthy and on the roster when we get there. So your thoughts on this road trip ahead, my friend, because I think this is a crucial way to start out the season, because we talked about how we don't want to go ahead and have lightning strike twice and get off to a bad start to the season.
Okay, Gerald. I know it's a completely different sport, but ladies and gentlemen, we're sportsmen and we pay attention to what's going on elsewhere.
Sports folk. We're sports folk.
Yeah.
By the way,
Anyway,
are you still invited
I go hunt.
to the
I go.
podcast? The
I
Suns
go hunt.
podcast?
I
Have
go
they
hunt.
banished you?
I go hunting, so I can call myself a sportsman.
Okay.
Sure.
Or anyway, no, they have not. I don't think.
Funny how that is at 2 and 4.
Yeah. Anyway, Gerald, as we discussed last year, you know, everybody in the NHL community saw the Boston Bruins just skating through the regular season, and I told Gerald and Joe straight up, be around the All-Star break, they're going to get bounced in the first round. And why did I think that? Because most teams who win championships, whether it's basketball, football, hockey, have something called snot, Gerald. You need to have a little snot. You need to be a little tough and rugged and willing to get a little dirty. And nobody on that team has any snot. These last two games were emblematic of that. The first game they took the Spurs for granted, Gerald, and they took them lightly. And they thought they would, in the end, just rely on KD to get them out of a jam. But all of a sudden, KD gets a little lackadaisical, Jamie. He starts loafing. And Keldon Johnson, I can steal that ball.
Yeah.
And Gerald, that was an embarrassing effort, not the result, not losing to a team like that, but that effort and that resolve wasn't there. And then they fall. Usually that can happen, right? But the next game, Tom used to be a coach. What would you tell your guys the next game, Tom? We're not taking them lightly.
Well, I would have called
what happened
next game for sure.
We knew what happened. And what did they do? They came out with a deflating effort, and the Spurs punked them again. Now they've lost again, Gerald, and I watched a little bit of that game.
You can't defend anybody. They
look terrible against the Sixers. We know Maxi's a fast guy, but Tom's right. Their perimeter defense, even with Beal and Booker, I think their perimeter defense is going to be a bit of a struggle, Gerald. But can they even get healthy for us to theorize or hypothesize whether or not they could be a factor in the Western Conference?
They got KD, so you know you can always be a factor if you've got KD in the right situation. You know, I saw a great photo of Wembanyama taking a jumper and KD jumping as high as he could to try to block it, and KD's arm was like about this far below the elbow of Wembanyama taking that jumper.
Oh, I agree with you about KD, Tom. As long as he's healthy and in the lineup, they're going to be in every game.
He can win a couple games in a 7-game series. Just
He
going
definitely
berserk.
he definitely can. I see a team exploiting them a lot like Michael Malone did in
I
the
don't think
final.
they're going to get very far.
Yeah, Michael
The
Malone
West
really
is so
exploited them.
The West is so competitive. I mean, it's like this
The-
game tonight. The game this afternoon is not an easy game, man. And then they're a team from the East. They're
Tom,
a good team.
we need to keep pace with the Golden State Warriors, who won again last night. They're 6-1 on the season.
That was a gift. That was a gift from
The Pelicans
Michigan.
are 4-1. The Nuggets are 5-1. The Lakers Gerald, this road trip is important just to keep pace with a lot of these teams because it's a short stack at the top of the Western Conference
We
right
need to be
now.
5-2 in 3 games.
All right, and we'll see what happens, though. Again, it is the Lakers and Orlando Magic on today at 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern. Please join us, playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break, for all the adult level fun. Yes, cool bro. Please, I know you watch all the horror movies that are out there.
I know. We are
Green,
a
I gotta
deep
tell you,
dive
you
into
need
the
your
deep
parents-
dive on the horror front. In the
Yes,
chat tonight.
Cool Bro
Today.
got them all last night into the horror movies last night because he's a 14-year-old looking to he's trying to get a whole bunch of horror recommendations out there, and boy, did we give it to him on last night's show. But
And he asked a question to Joe, and Joe blew him off. Yeah, we saw that, Joe.
Well, no, but Joe's going to talk about dating advice tonight. Never did I thought in all the years and 860 episodes did I think that the Lakers Fast Break.
I might have to pour a glass of rosé for
apparently that's
like
going to
that.
happen tonight. Apparently that's going to happen tonight at the Lakers Fast Break post game. So can't wait for that as well. Alfred Esmond.
He needs a green screen and the dating show, the dating game backdrop for himself tonight.
Absolutely. Well, Jamie, Darren said that you were look like you do wood carvings on the side. Is that correct?
No, I just throw my partner in the wood chipper.
Okay. There you go. There you go, indeed. But once again, yes, Alex.
Fargo reference for you, cool bro. If you want a good movie, go watch.
Stay tuned for Joe tonight. He has been asked honestly by Cool Bro, so Cool Bro will get his answer to his dating question from Joe Soro, the love guru. The love guru indeed will be on Joe Soro on tonight's show, along with Alfred Esmond from Orlando Magic Daily, who has no idea what he's getting himself in for tonight's show right there at the post game. So it's following the Lakers and Magic. Please join us here. But again, playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break for all the fun, R-rated and more right there at playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. I will say, guys, though, that right now the league is trying to pump up the enthusiasm as far as a little bit earlier in the season with the in-season tournament, which is still a lousy name for how they're trying to position it, or the NBA Cup, or whatever the hell you want to call it. Laker Tom, I want to start with you because, Magic Man and I had our thoughts on it. I think we're pretty much on this in-season tournament. And we're after a day's worth of games, which the Lakers weren't a part of, which I thought was a stupid move by the league. I still have zero energy for this in-season tournament. And remember, the finals are coming to my town in Las Vegas, so it's still, I've got zero energy for it. But your thoughts on this in-season tournament / NBA Cup / let's just find an excuse to turn the courts a different color.
I think it's going to be a sort of mixed first experiment. I think that they have some good ideas in the sense that making the games, some games that count double as the tournament and a part of the regular season makes sense. I think that the courts are crazy. I mean, that Bulls court, I can't imagine playing on a court blood red like that, running up and down the court and so forth. And the other courts some of them are okay, but some of them are very distracting. And then wait till you get to the yellow brick road. The tournament starts on the 3rd, but we don't play till the 10th. I mean, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
And And then it's mixed. You look at the schedule. Sometimes you can see the tournament games highlighted, and other times you don't. So you don't really know what's going on with it. There's no separate schedules. I think what they're going to find is that there is some interest in it. I think they're going to find that the players who got a chance to win $500,000 are going to like that idea. And I think that they need to compress it so that it's in like a week. So you can focus. It's just too spread out. It's not, I don't think it's going to work in that sense.
Jamie, what are your thoughts on this so far after one night's return? I mean, I don't know how much you can give. Okay, go ahead, Sean.
I was going to say, Tom's right. That bright red is very distracting for both.
Well, like I was saying, maybe
we should wait for they see the shooting percentages, Sean,
or the yellow brick road that the Lakers have in mind.
The Heat one is a little different. That's more of a blood orange. It's not completely red. But the fact of the matter is, they're all god awful. Go ahead, Jamie.
Do they have special uniforms for the?
Yeah, they use the City Edition uniforms. So, I mean, look, it's
which
obviously.
I'm not in love with either.
So if you're watching the game, it's pretty obvious that you're watching a tournament game.
That's why they've wanted to do the courts. Yeah. It's unique jerseys, unique courts. Visually, you're like, oh, tournament game.
So reaction. We should get a meme for that, Jamie.
Tournament game. Oh. So I mean, look, it's obvious that this is being done for the upcoming TV deal.
Yeah.
That's obvious that this is being done to market, to like hit the early season market a little harder than normal, because NBA fans know a lot of teams ease into the regular season, especially if you play deep into the playoffs the year before, especially if you have key guys who played for Team USA. You see a little bit of ease on into that season. So now, you got guys vet minimum guys who maybe think they are owed more, young guys on rookie deals who are looking to, make a name for themselves. Now you've got a format to improve your earnings for the season or whatever. $500,000. I would just assume they donate the winnings to everybody's favorite charity, let's make it, do some good or something.
No, the 15th man on a team gets $500,000. That's pretty
I know,
deal.
up to or that the team matches the winnings to everybody's favorite charity. I don't know. It just seems kind of all Tom's point about the schedule being all over the place, and it just all has like a hodgepodge feeling to it. Yeah. It would make more sense to me if they wanted to do with so it's obvious that they want to have two broad palette strokes of color and a strip down the middle, right? Like that's the vibe. So that's great. But let's just not make it annoying. The courts, except for Golden State's, were annoying. They were annoying to look at.
They can be annoying to play on.
I hope that so Gerald, are you saying that our dominant that we're getting 2 swatches of yellow and not 2 swatches of purple?
It's all yellow.
The big stripe of yellow.
That's terrible.
In the middle.
With the cup itself on each end. As far as it's yellow. It's
and everybody's
entirely yellow.
This
is from the tweet from LakersDaily.com.
We'll call it Gerald. We'll call it the Donovan court.
Yeah. We'll call it the
according to the pictures provided by Lakers Daily.
I mean, we'll see what it ends up being.
Do we bring our court to Vegas? Is what I want to know.
I don't know. It just seems a little bit arbitrary.
When they play in Vegas, it's the neutral court.
Yeah, it'll be something like that. Yeah.
I wish they would do one of 2 things. One, the first month of season is the tournament, right? Games still count towards the playoffs. But from the get-go, let's not mix it up. This is a tournament game, but this isn't. And you have to have you have to know what's on the secret menu, and that's the tournament court. No, that's just it's too weird. It's too weird. And so simplify it. First month of the season, tournament games, then it's over. Then we move on. It gives people a reason to, be ready for the beginning of the season so that you can have your name on the record books for the
The solution is a prize.
Like
to make the prize something
Brooke
worthwhile.
Lopez is the tournament leader in blocks. Everybody, he blocked 8 shots. He's
Get an extra first round pick.
He's running.
You win a tournament, something like
now
that.
That would be that's
how you get some excitement into it.
That's how you get some excitement. Or if you're
take a week, line all those teams up. They all play against each other. They're all regular season games, every one of them, and just do it in a solid week. Give them $1 million a player to the winners, and give them extra first round pick.
They didn't get enough sponsorships for the $1 million. Yeah, I don't know. It's something.
The prize can solve the whole problem. If you gave a first round pick or something like that,
I think the idea has merit.
Be really interested in it.
I think the idea has merit. I like how it works in soccer.
Tom, this is already kind of a novelty. Do you think that would maybe diminish the overall product?
You're turning everything into a video game, Sean.
I understand that, but I'm about the integrity of the game more than anything else, Tom.
I do like that they went back to the East versus the West in the All-Star game.
Thank you.
At least
talk about that, but
sense than LeBron's team versus
Ghana. that was talk about novel. Yes, Tom.
They'll have to fix this mess. I think it can work, but it just needs to be fine-tuned.
But then again, Alex is in the chat, and we need to educate him on it because he's unaware of what's going on as far as a whole. He's like, say there's blocks. The league has done a less than admirable job in trying to communicate all this out there. And I agree with Alex. It's just very hard for the general consumer at large out there to follow what's going on with all this, block A, block C, block D, block
it could
Q,
work,
block
but they just
N,
need to
whatever.
Yeah.
You know what?
Okay. I've just solved it. All right. First month of the season, you only play within your group. That's it. You play within your group. You split up the game, so you spread it out so that like Group A plays
2 seasons.
I mean, basically, that's what they want to do anyway, right? And everybody wants to
provide the link here in a second in the chat, everyone. Alex, I don't blame you a bit. This has just been very confusing from the get-go. I
already provided the link. I already provided the link.
Sean's on top of it.
I
think if they were to simplify, the scheduling, where it's either starts as a tournament or there's a chunk of the season that's designated as the tournament. But this is a tournament game. Oh wait, now I gotta look. This isn't. That's
you can't mix them up. You can't mix them up.
You cannot mix them up. People will just be like, "What?
What's going on?" It's like
what's going on? Right
in one place, everybody's there. Put it all in Vegas.
Just like today. Well, just like today, Tom. Today it's not an in-season tournament day. So why should people care? Why should people be interested? They're going to go back to their college football. On Sunday, they're going to go back to the NFL. So it's weird.
They saw how Summer League works in Vegas. They should have made the whole tournament in Vegas. They should do it in the Sphere. That's what they should do.
No, they shouldn't do it in the Sphere. It's
turn into the bubble.
Yeah,
I think would be perfect, man.
But they should do it in they should have each group in a couple of designated arenas that maybe aren't even normally NBA arenas, kind of like the Magic Johnson barnstorming tour, right? Where like he went to different places. If you want to grow the game,
for today, and then tomorrow it's 4th Street, and after that,
then Venice Beach,
Venice Beach,
cool. That'd be great. That's Laguna. That would be a disaster. But
there's the group's drawings right now. Magic Man is. I put it on the screen for you. I'm trying to find the super chat for Darren.
So you play 4 games. You play your 4 opponents, 1 game each.
Yep.
And you got to win that, or be one of the best 2 wild card teams. To get to be the final 8 teams in the competition.
Yeah, I don't know.
They go to Vegas.
And whether or not they wanted to or not, they've created controversy already, Gerald. That Steph Curry drive at the end of the game yesterday, Gerald, was much maligned by everybody. 2 wrongs don't make a right. The officials made 2 wrong calls.
They made up new rules.
They did. And even though I think Steph would have ultimately made the shot, the refs missed a foul on Draymond, and they miss a basket interference by Josh
They
Giddey.
should have called
Gerald.
a technical on Draymond and let him make another shot, and then it would have been a 2-point win.
I do want to go ahead and
But that was an in-season tournament game, Gerald, and they're
Yeah.
kind of. I don't think they're trying to gin up controversy, but it just happens to fall on the inaugural night.
Yeah.
Well, let me go ahead and give a big shout out to Darren in the super chat. Tom and Jamie, I really think we need an athletic 3-and-D guard next to D'Lo or AR-15. What should
one of them won't be in that position by the end of the year.
Now, people have already been talking about Max Christie. I know we get emails from Rodell all the time, the biggest Max Christie supporter I know. Max Christie, so far, as much as I enjoy seeing him, it's really mature in summer league. He has not translated that after the first preseason game, especially right now. He's not shot well given the opportunity. He will get more opportunity in the coming days simply because of the injuries. Could he develop into that athletic 3-and-D that Darren is looking for?
He needs to make shots. He's not making shots. You can't be a 3-and-D guy when you're not making
14%
shots
overall. And 20%
yeah, he's not making shots, and he's getting wide open looks. So that's the problem. It's not that he doesn't have the skills.
The problem also is
Tom took a lot of heat this summer for his Max Christie criticism.
I love Max, man.
We all
but
want
he's
Max
2 or 3 years away from being a contributor.
Exactly, and he needs to focus on taking it to the
it's a
hole.
contract year for him.
It's a contract year for him, which means he's got to do better, right? So he needs to take it to the hole. If you're open,
yeah, but look at who he's competing against. He's competing against guys who are 6'8", because that's where the Lakers are going in the backcourt. The Lakers want size in the backcourt just like the front court. Why do you think Reddish?
He's 6'6".
Go to basketball. If you go to basketball, wait a minute. You go to basketball. If you look at the stats historically before this season, Cam Reddish has never played shooting guard. He's never played guard.
Yeah.
And we got him slated at 6'8" with a 7'1" wingspan as our backup too at this point in time. That's why Max Christie is not going to play, because he's got a 24-year-old kid who's much more athletic and a lot bigger, who can be a defensive force.
If Christie could hit shots, that wouldn't be the case, but he's not hitting shots.
Cam Reddish, as much as I've enjoyed Cam Reddish, his defense, he does also at some point need to go ahead and be a little bit more. Yeah. Well, he's got the worst looking shot, as we've already said on the show that we've seen.
It's not going to get better.
But as LeBron said, sometimes that
shooting form is absolutely awful.
If you've got Wood in the lineup, and AD and LeBron are shooting the three as well as they're shooting it, then you don't have a problem having a fifth guy be Vanderbilt or be someone like Reddish.
He's got that creaky, rickety release that kind of like every time I see it, Gerald, I hear that Tales of the Crypt door sound.
But he's also got a guy guarding him now, Sean, who's going to be 6'3". He's going to be guarded by a 6'3" guy.
Listen, I think we're all pulling for Christie. I think we're all pulling for Christie. The problem with both Christie
I think we all are, yes.
He's 20 years old. You remember what you were like when you were 20 years old?
I get it, Tom.
I try not to. But
let me just say this. Due to the contract he was signed, which I've had an issue with from day one, due to the contract, you don't spend an extra $4 million to get this guy, then you sign him on a terrible 2-year contract. That to me was just absolutely asinine.
Yeah, but we haven't given him an opportunity, so we'll be able to re-sign him cheap.
Unless he decides to go out, unless somebody tries to outside, it sets you up for mistakes,
problems.
I agree. We did the same thing with Reeves. We should have. Why aren't we giving him a max contract to lock him up as long as we can for a cheap price? Somebody's either negotiating better than Pelinka is, or we decided that this player is worth giving that up.
I don't know. All I know is that between Reddish and Christie, Reddish is at this point the better defender. Neither one of them are making shots.
Yeah.
The first one to start making shots and defend at a decent level is going to get the minutes.
Well, Reddish,
it's really
Vando
that
could be a
been
competitor for that backup spot too, because Vando doesn't have a big role or minutes or many more minutes than 8 or 12 a game at forward.
Reddish,
Assuming everybody's healthy.
good defense against some of the best players in the league, or the best.
He guards guards. He guards guards. Vando could
and he's versatile enough. I've seen him play against centers so far in the, when he gets switched, and that's something he does. He doesn't get burned very much when he has to switch. So I think right now his defense has been something of a great surprise from all of us, including myself. And I think that's something he's going to be able to utilize going forward, no matter how bad his offense is.
And that's what we need to back up Reeves and Russell, really.
Yeah.
Is we need a great defensive guard. Big.
And the thing is with Vanderbilt, if Vanderbilt comes back and continues to not be anything offensively, if he's not giving the defense he needs, at least you have another go-to in Cam Reddish to give you something similar, but with better defensive skills in case Vanderbilt's defense doesn't, grow the way we hope it will as far as being a lockdown defender. Magic Man, any thoughts on this? I know you and I talked about it last night on the show in regards to Max Christie, but any thoughts, my friend, as I unmute you in regards to Max Christie a little bit more? I mean, he's going to get some playing time on this trip, no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will. I'm doing two things at once here. I'm trying to give Cool Bro some tips while at the same time paying attention here. No notes. No notes.
No notes.
No notes. You got to talk to her.
Yeah.
All right.
That's right.
I know it's hard. I know you're nervous. I know it's kind of scary, especially at 14.
Put your phone on silent. No phone.
Yeah. Just talk to her. See if there's any interest.
Write down what you want to say, Cool Bro, and practice.
Hey.
Start with homework. That's the one. Maybe start with homework. Start a study group or something like that. So there you go. See, and see if that's the bridge.
I got something you can study.
Oh my gosh!
All right, Jamie.
Your wood carvings there in your garage.
Gerald, I'm in complete agreement with the panelists. Yeah, you can't call yourself 3-and-D when you only shoot 14% from 3. That's not 3-and-D. That's no 3 and helpful D.
And helpful D.
Let's just call him helpful defender right now, because as we said, he's good in passing lanes when he's beside another strong perimeter defender, somebody who's isn't as green around the gills as he is, let's say, with physical men, because this is a man's league, Gerald, and at times Christie kind of looks like a babe in the woods out there still, especially offensively.
He's 20 years old, man.
He is, yeah. Yeah,
God, I can't even imagine being 20 years old and playing for the Lakers.
I know, but if
going up against LeBron James and Anthony Davis,
and
he's going to be great. He's going to be great. He's just not. It's not his time yet, man. It's that simple.
I know, Tom. It's just there's a couple things working against him, as you know. One is that we all agree Cam Reddish is a little ahead of him as far as not only the learning curve with this team, but just I think overall defensive principles. Cam is more schooled than Max.
Right.
And the second one, Tom, is the confound. Rob Pelinka has made more good moves than questionable moves as a Lakers executive, but obviously one of the questionable moves was only signing Max Christie, a draftee, to a 2-year deal.
I hate those 2-year deals.
Yeah,
man.
he's learned. Hopefully, he's learned his lesson, because me and Gerald have both been baffled at his history behind basically just throwing out 2-year generic deals to just about every free agent or draft pick he's come across until this year, when the new CBA kind of forced his hands and forced him to try and sign guys to 3-year deals. Gerald and JHS and Max Lewis both have an option there. That being said, Christie needs to show up and get points however he can get him drilled. I wouldn't focus on the 3-point shot at this point. If you make them, you make them.
but
But
the
I wouldn't.
14% overall shooting, that's what really gets me.
He can't take.
It's also probably what happens in practice, because these decisions, when the rotation decisions are made for a game,
I think he's being put in position where he's taking the ball across the half court, Tom. I don't think he should be put in those positions because
he's not a ball. He's not a playmaker.
He's a ball handler, yeah, and it frustrates me because I don't think it's Max's intention. But when he gets into the lane, especially the painted area, he finds it difficult whether or not he wants to shoot or pass, and normally it ends up in some kind of turnover. So
I got a good thing though for Cool Bro. Okay, Cool Bro. Remember, first thing is you're all 14. So there's a lot of parents that don't let their kids date, i.e. their daughters date at 14. I'm not going to say which dads. Yeah, I had 2 daughters myself, teenagers.
I don't have any daughters.
So I'm just going to say, you just be aware of that. Just be prepared for that. Okay. There's a lot of parents out there, and I've talked to them, that won't let their kids date that early. So
This is the
don't call a dad bro.
but
and
there is
Gerald.
a way. There is a way that
Well, you know something. Here's
there's a local mall.
Yeah,
there's
one
a local
person-
mall. Yeah, is
He
there a
locked
local
them
mall
in
you
a
can go
closet
to?
till they
Yeah.
were 20.
Get a group of friends of yours. Get a group of friends of hers. Maybe start out that way, and then,
That's good. That's good. That's how I did it.
Now,
Gerald.
don't start.
That's how
Don't
I
start.
did it.
Don't start
just
with the
don't.
group
If you're
thing.
with your
Don't-
friends, don't act like a
Act
dork.
like a jerk.
I can't make jokes. I'm sorry, Cool Bro. Don't listen to me. I'm flippant when it comes to this.
I have 2 awesome daughters. Yeah,
I have an
absolutely.
awesome daughter. She's in kindergarten, so I don't have to
Yeah.
worry
Would
about
you
that.
let her date at 14?
Right now? No, she's only 5, Gerald. Come on.
14. I said 14. I love how
Yeah, I
you just,
know. 14-year-old and a 5-year-old. That doesn't
when,
make any
when
sense.
she gets to 14, will you let her date? Is what I'm asking. You know
She'll
what
be
I'm
locked
asking.
up in
Just,
chains.
just doing wood carvings over there.
I'll
Jared-
be. Hold on. Let me think this through. I'll be 58 years old. So I may have Alzheimer's.
I'm
by
54, and one of my kids is 15.
Oh,
What's the point?
that explains your whole confusing 5, and you're already early Alzheimer's is setting in. No,
You're the one that's Alzheimer's. You
Multiple
didn't understand the
children
question.
advance.
Will you
Alzheimer's
let
I've
your
heard.
kid date at 14?
I can't say that right now. I think I would probably not let her go on a date by herself, but that, like, if it was to be like a
chaperone.
yeah, like a yeah,
I
like
know,
a,
Alex.
like an advanced form of what you would call a play date for kids, where it's like, all right, listen, you want to go to the movies? Great, we're gonna go to the movies too.
I'm not.
We'll
JB
sit
doesn't
8
want to
rows
be a
back.
JB doesn't want to be a helicopter parent. He wants to just be like a drone.
No, I want to be like I want to be like
drone.
I want to be like
That's what you're talking about.
I want to be like Richard Dreyfuss in Stakeout. That's what I want to be like. I just want to be like Richard Dreyfuss in Stakeout.
Like your Tom, you've had sons. That's a good question by Alex. How old?
I've got 2
wait a minute,
granddaughters.
Tom. Isn't your son dealing with this situation?
Yes, he's the same age as you guys are. So I actually have my granddaughter Mia, who's the basketball player. She has a boyfriend now. And the kids' cars, they live next door to us. The kids' cars there all the time, man. He's a really nice kid. He's a track star, so she's a track star too. The other one, the other girl who's a little bit older, she's a senior in high school. Mia's a junior, hasn't had a boyfriend yet, and she's real serious academic type student, so forth. But it was interesting because I was worried about Mia dating, because Mia's the most popular girl in the school. And she's really pretty, cute little blonde girl. And you know, it's just, she just.
Don't tell Mrs. Lakerton.
No, I won't. I don't do that. But she's more impulsive, you know. She's the kind where
dynamite.
You know, she's gonna do what she wants to do. And she just,
listen,
you know,
cool, bro. I got 3 things you should.
I would have locked her up until she's 21.
Right, this is the story of a man named Gerald who had lovely daughters of his own.
Go ahead.
He locked them in a
I'm glad I only had a son. I'll tell you that. But I also coached both of these girls in basketball for 5 or 6 years. So
cool, bro. Cool, bro. 3 things you got to do: drive up to the house, blasting Shaft, the theme song from Shaft.
Oh my gosh. R.I.P.
14,
Richard
Two,
Country.
let's have a license.
2, offer the dad a pack of smokes. 3, bring a case of beer. You're good. You're good, man.
Yeah, that sets you on the road to disaster, right? And remember,
here, hold on a second. I'm going to give my advice for him.
oh, here we go.
What you want to do, if you want this girl to like you, is to show her by everything you do that you are extremely considerate and thinking about her in what you do. And if you do that, she'll like you as a friend or love you, one or the other. That's
Cool,
simple.
bro. They do not know Magic Man's life story. He did not start dating at 7.
I love Cool Bros. Wait, what? Cigarettes and Shaft? What?
There's no
It
way
was
that
around
this
10. It was around 10.
was around 10.
Oh man.
It was around 10.
This has gone off the rails.
Yeah.
Little did I know when I
Hey.
created this show in 2019 that this would
Text-
actually become a dating
Text
show.
Joe.
Hey,
Dating
Gerald,
advice
if you've never, hey,
No,
if you've
you know
never
he's
gone-
got to put his 2
if you've
cents
never
in
gone
tonight.
through a drought, how can you give advice about that?
All right, fair enough. The only thing I'll say, in your eyes, very good song, absolutely, Alex.
Search
very
and
good song.
destroy your poor kid.
I will say though to Cool Bro, don't worry whether she says yes or no. You're 14. You've got a whole life of dating stories way ahead of you. So yeah, you're only.
You can't
14.
make a shot if you don't take it.
Yes.
Look her right in the eye. Start talking. Your lips will
Let's
start
do lunch
moving,
sometime.
and
Let's
you'll
go to lunch.
And you'll
I'm just talking about Shaft, baby.
You'll cool, bro. I'm telling you, man. Just start talking to her. You'll forget you're nervous in about 10 seconds.
Let's go to lunch. Just have to. There you go. Just
right.
a few words right there.
All right.
Want to grab lunch? There you go.
Let's wrap this thing up.
Yeah, let's wrap this thing up on
Oh,
the
are
end.
you uncomfortable, Jamie?
No, I can't. I'm like on the verge of making like 3 inappropriate jokes, and if we go on much longer,
again.
my-
He's
my
14,
internal-
baby. He's
my
14.
internal-
Well, you don't want to
No,
give
I
us
know.
the inappropriate
I'm trying,
advice
man.
and then
Jared,
get sued.
You should
I
be
don't have
encouraged. Jamie, you should
They
be
could sue,
encouraging.
they could sue Daryl for everything he's got just because
You should be
your advice
encouraging.
about somebody to do something.
You should be
Okay.
encouraging this young man.
There's a
I-
disclaimer down below
not-
that I
not
will
a-
put to
I'm-
make
I'm
sure
just-
that's not going to happen.
Donald Trump
I've already
found
been
out
advised by
disclaimers
my
don't
legal
matter.
counsel, Nick Molina. So
Disclaimers.
yes, I will make sure that doesn't happen. But once again, it is the Lakers fast break.
Good luck in whatever you do, Cool Bro.
It is only, just advice. You take it, you leave it from us right here on the dating world. So
She's gonna say no if you send a note, cool, bro. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna be honest with you. She's gonna say no. No shot. You gotta talk to her, brother.
Yeah, you got to talk to her face to face. She'll appreciate that more. But again, yes or no, you're only 14. You got a whole life ahead of you, and it's not the end of the world if they say no. Believe me, you ask enough times, one of them is going to say yes eventually. And
Probably not your soulmate, but she'll say yes.
Yes. Well, you never know, Tom. You never know.
Well,
But once again, it is the Lakers fast break. We
just
truly
depends how many
appreciate you.
soulmates you could possibly have.
Well, if you're in Utah,
Good point. Very good point indeed. Once
You
again, it
guys
is the
are-
Lakers.
Listen, you can't keep setting them up and not expect me to knock him down. Like it's just
It
gonna
is
get
the
bad
Lakers
here
fast
soon.
break.
It is
Go ahead
volleyball.
and
And
you know-
volleyball, it is.
And you know something, ladies and gentlemen? I'm dating in the modern world. None of these other 3 gentlemen are. They're all married. They don't know what it's like out there. So please take everything everybody here on this panel says with
Throw it
the
out the window.
grain of salt you could find.
Flush
That
it down
speck
the
in the
toilet
sand-
and watch it swirl.
I think Magic Man's probably got the best idea. Just be honest. Just be brief. Just be short. Hey, we just want to do lunch. Just come walk up right to you and say, do you want to do lunch sometime? If you do, here's my number. Give me a call. You can throw it away, whatever. There you go. So there you go. And then if she says no, you move on to the next one.
Then you could try for dinner.
Wow. You know what, Tom? They're 14. Okay.
I can't. Listen, we really got to move on. I'm
Yeah.
on the verge of saying.
Yeah. Okay. Save it for if you come on playback. Playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break, where you can hear everything
This is
uncut.
a horror movie I watched last night.
Which horror movie?
I don't know. I watched 2 or 3 a night.
It wasn't very
was that
good.
good,
Can't
huh?
remember it.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
All right. Well, once
Was
again,
it the Titanic?
Actually,
Were you
I
watching-
watched the.
Are you watching Titanic?
I watched Tom Cruise in the Mummy last night.
Ugh.
Oh, that was
my
a horror
late
movie.
movie.
Oh yeah, that's like
That was
Mummy Part 4.
horror movie for altogether different reasons.
It's a terrible movie, but a nice little twist
Yes,
on the
it's
story.
a horrible
twist was,
movie.
but-
Absolutely,
Right.
that's what the
Tom was
horror is.
terrible in the movie. It was one of
That
the worst
movie was
movies.
bad. I actually wasted my money in the theaters on that one. Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. Please go ahead and join the crew at Lakerholics.com. Jamie Sweet and Laker Tom. They'll now be adding love advice on everything else that they're doing at Lakerholics.com. Oh my gosh, here we go. Lakerholics.com. Go
I'd
ahead.
like to counter Sean's last statement, because basically the other 3 of us are married, which means we've been successful at this
Yeah,
dating
but-
No,
game.
he's not talking
he's
about
not-
that. That's not what he's saying.
Some of the
That's not what
advice
he's
that you might get from
that
us has a little more merit than the modern young guy.
Tom, that's like
He's
saying
out there
I know.
doing it.
Tom,
you know?
that's like saying I learned to drive on a Model T. I'm a great driver in any car you put me in.
No, that's not true, because listen, the truth of the matter is, staying
Sean's
married
driving
for
a
a long
Tesla.
time
You're
is
driving
a
a
lot harder than
Volkswagen
people
Bug.
think.
These are 2 different things.
I would agree with Jamie's assessment on that one. Sean is dating in the modern age, and
Right.
Oh,
we're
come
not.
on! Are you on the internet, Sean? Are you swiping left and right for stuff, Love? Is that how it goes?
I do not swipe left
Are you
or right.
ghosting people?
I'm
Are you-
a man. I'm a man. I meet women in grocery stores. Find dog
You're the guy who
parks,
hangs out at the
in dog,
daycare.
in dog parks. I meet them at the
Hot
movie
yoga.
theater. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just shopping for some eggplant here. Which one do you think which
We have a good friend. We have a good friend who married on the internet 15 years ago, and her husband
Okay.
died. She's on the internet now. She's dating a guy in Vancouver, and this is the woman who we have adopted her dog, a German Shepherd.
Okay.
And so I get all of this stuff of all of this modern dating stuff.
Oh, you get it from the German Shepherd or what?
It's crazy, man. I mean, the internet has changed everything. These people are
Who's
just.
got a window open? I just heard a really nice bike drive by.
I'm in the garage. There's
That
not a
was
lot
a
of
little driving by. All right. But once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is Lakerholics.com. Go ahead and check out the latest articles from Laker Tom and Jamie Sweet. Jamie
it's a
Sweet.
moped with
spot
an identity
things.
crisis.
Absolutely. They will now add on a dating advice for you and yours out there at Lakerholics.com. If that's what gets people over. to
Don't
the
date
site.
anybody but Laker fans. That's one
Brown
of the
chicken,
first
brown
rules you gotta
cow.
do.
Well, if that's
I
what
mean,
gets people over your
So
site,
you
there
can
go.
convert
That
people.
increases
Sometimes you
traffic.
can convert them, but conversions is hard. Conversions are hard. You know, you really want to find out right from the beginning who they're rooting for.
Devotion says,
what if it's a Celtic fan? I think you have a relationship with a Celtics fan.
Devotion says Magic Man puts classified ads in the newspapers for dates. No,
Come on now. Come on.
that's
Must
old
love
hat
dogs.
stuff.
Must love Lakers.
Yes. Yeah. There you go. Once again, Magic Man, please provide some sanity to the show before we head on out.
WSM seeks.
Well, so much for that. Once again, go ahead.
Gerald,
Gerald Glassford for Lakers.
Gerald, we appreciate you, cool bro, for coming in.
That's right.
And we
That's
welcome
right.
you into the fam. So this is all good advice. Take it with a grain of salt, brother. But I'm telling you, eventually getting on a date requires you to talk to the young lady. I'm sure she would appreciate you inviting her to do homework. That's a great idea. That's a great idea.
Good
You
study
can,
group.
you can,
There you
you
go.
can build on a relationship that way. And
Yep.
and she's not weird about it. Neither are you, brother. You're a confident young man. You can do it. I believe in you, cool bro. We want to hear a good story, a good result from this.
Pixar didn't happen.
Once
What?
again,
Pictures or it didn't happen.
Joe always wants pictures. So
I'm not asking for people with pictures of wife pictures.
He wants pictures of
that's
people's
his own little
when they're
fetish.
divorced.
I don't know, guys. Your age asking for pictures is not a good look.
Well, that's Joe. Don't look at me. Once again, it is. Am I right, Magic Man? That's his famous line.
Absolutely, Gerald. And as before we end this discussion, I'll just say this.
Are we having a discussion still?
Yes, we are.
Great.
It's hard to kill it.
At some point in time, some young caller may ask Gerald's permission to marry one of his daughters.
In 30 years.
If you are a young person out there, do never, ever, ever drive to Joe Soros' house and ask him permission to marry one of his kids.
Why not?
Because
he'll turn the lawn on.
Because he'll probably throw the door in your face like Toodles did to Robin Williams in Captain Hook.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one indeed. But for dating advice, I guess now you can go ahead and turn to us here at the Lakers Fast Break. I truly appreciate you joining us, but also as well, again, today, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. Join us for all the fun. I'm sure Joe will provide more dating advice there, but I know he will be back tonight for the post game. And also as well, Alfred Esmond from Orlando Magic Daily. He wants to stop on by. He has no idea what he's preparing himself for when it comes to our post game, the best post game in town right here at the Lakers Fast Break. We'll bring a wrap up to you of the Lakers and Magic, dating advice, and so much more. Looking forward to it. Empire Jeff, give him a big shout out. Go ahead and subscribe to his channel anytime you can. Please go ahead and make sure you do. He's got some good stuff going on over there. And don't forget everything that we do here at the Lakers Fast Break. Please like and subscribe and let everyone know whether they need dating advice or Lakers advice, to go ahead and get it right here at the Lakers Fast Break podcast. See you later today, Lakers and Magic.